Happy Wednesday, everybody. This is Pastor David coming to you from the Community Church of Mount Pleasant. Today is Wednesday, March 29. And I'm just excited and I'm thankful to be able to visit with you today. I really appreciate you inviting us to come there wherever you are, whether you're at work or at home or wherever. I'm just thankful that we have this opportunity to visit a little bit in the middle of your week. And I'd like to celebrate some things from this past week. We had just another amazing week, a great Sunday. I'm amazed we really continue to grow week by week as a church, not just numerically, even though we continue to grow numerically with our attendance and so on, but I just think as we continue to get deeper as a church family, and building relationships, and so this weekend was a great weekend. Some of our men went up to Albemarle, and we went to a men's conference. Pastor Johnny Hunt was the speaker, and several of our guys went up. We just had a good time together. We love being with our guys, our band of brothers. I just love the commitment from these guys, and I love being with these guys. They inspire me and prod me along spiritually. And we had a great time there, and of course Sunday was another awesome day of worship, and we talked about of course the Kentucky-Carolina game was Sunday night, and I know that was a pretty big deal. We kind of had the church split up there because we got some Wildcat fans as well as many Tar Heel fans, and we have fun with that. We have fun at church. We laugh and have fun together, and it was great to have Erin Cooper back, who's our Coast Guard girl, and we're real proud of her, and just lots of visitors. And then of course we had two new families join our church family on Sunday, the Cox family and the Whitaker family, and God just continues to build His church. It's very exciting, and we're just thankful to be a part of such an amazing thing that's going on right here in Mount Pleasant. And of course we're excited. We heard our very first report from our Journey team, and that is the team that is going to help us and keep us informed as we move forward, as we build our first building here on our new property, 26 acres here off Highway 73, and we're moving closer and closer to the day that we'll begin to build our home, our next home. And the process there, they've captured it, and it is the Journey Home. And you'll be hearing more from the Journey team, and just stay alert and be ready as the Journey team continues to communicate. There's some things coming up in the next few days that I'm excited about. I know there's a parent team fellowship Sunday night, April 9, and that's where we meet with our teenagers, and all the teen parents can come have a snack, and basically the leaders will talk about their schedules and events and kind of give you an update for our teen parents. Also, we have a big event coming up on April 22nd and 23rd. This is our birthday number 2. We're almost 2 years old, Community Church of Mount Pleasant, and so we're going to celebrate Saturday. We're going to celebrate Sunday, April 22nd and 23rd, and it's going to be a party all weekend, and hope you will be able to be with us at both of those events on the 22nd and 23rd of April as we celebrate Happy Birthday number 2 to the Community Church of Mount Pleasant. And then we're going to do something special the 29th, which is Saturday. Normally that would be our men's breakfast, and we're going to let the girls come this time. We're going to invite our ladies and children and make it a family-wide breakfast, a church-wide breakfast that day here at the farm, and that'll just be a fun day. So there's a lot of neat things coming up, and it's a great time of year, springtime, sunshine, the grass is getting green and growing, and lots of flowers and trees looking pretty, and so it's just a great time of year. It's the time of year that life begins to come back, and I think it's so appropriate because that's when we begin to celebrate Easter. And today, as we open our Bibles for a little time of devotion together, I want to talk for the next few weeks, right up until Easter. We're 3 weeks away. And I want to give you some Easter thoughts. And then this Sunday coming up, we will have a three-part series on Easter, and we'll culminate that on Easter Sunday. We'll talk about this coming Sunday, we'll talk about the Lord's Supper, and this will be the time when He met before they came to take Him as He was moving toward the crucifixion. And then The following Sunday we'll talk about his crucifixion, and Easter Sunday we'll talk about the resurrection of the Messiah, our Lord Jesus Christ. So it's Easter time, and so this is kind of a little devotional to start getting us to thinking about Easter time. And today I'm in Luke chapter 23, and I came across these verses, 3 verses. And the theme of these verses, as it talks about Jesus and what he did in Easter and the process of his crucifixion, but the theme here is the word forgiveness. And so many times at Easter we think about, of course, his resurrection and all the things in that process, but today I'm captured by this thought of forgiveness. And so I want to read to you from Luke chapter 23 and verses 32, 33, and 34 as we talk about this concept of forgiveness. And it's an amazing example that we see here from Jesus. Luke chapter 23, verse 32. There was also 2 other malefactors. Now that in the King James, that's malefactor. That simply means it's a criminal. A criminal. Let me define that for you. Here, this word meaning criminal, it says one who commits a crime, one guilty of violating the laws, who subjects him to public prosecution and punishment. So here's these 2 guys that were with Jesus, and they were criminals. And so here's the thing about this circumstance that Jesus in. Here's Jesus, who is the opposite of these 2 guys. These 2 guys are criminals. They have been convicted. They've submitted themselves to prosecution. They're guilty. They're criminals. They've broken the law. By the way, that represents you and I. You and I are spiritual criminals. We have broken the laws of God. We have sinned. You and I and every other human being. We're criminals in a spiritual realm. And so the irony of this is Jesus is being taken here with these 2 criminals. And he said they're led with him to be put to death. So here's 2 examples of us. They're guilty. And these 2 men have been brought before a court and a judge, and they've been found guilty, and now they're going to be prosecuted because they're criminals. And Jesus is with them, who is innocent. He's never sinned. And so we see these 2 criminals, and then this one man who is the Messiah, who is not a criminal. Yet they're going to face the same fate. And so he was led with these 2 criminals to be put to death. Verse 33, when they were come to the place of the crucifixion, the place that they were to be put to death publicly, which is called Calvary. And this is a real legitimate place here in Jerusalem, right along the outskirts of Jerusalem there, and it's a documented place. It's not a fairy tale. There's this place that they were going to be put to death in a public way, and it's called Calvary. There they crucified him and the criminals. So here's Jesus and a criminal, and here is the only perfect, innocent human being facing the same death of 2 common criminals. What a story. So they took them to Calvary, where they were crucified. One on the right hand and the other on the left. So here is, if you can see this image of 3 men on 3 crosses, and Jesus is in the center, and the common criminal on his left and one on his right. These men deserved to die. They had been prosecuted and were found guilty. Remember, those criminals represent you and me, because we were guilty. We had no excuses. So Jesus was there with those 2 criminals. Now, here's what I want you to see in verse 34 of Luke chapter 23. So get the picture. They're there on the crosses together. Jesus, and then one on his left and one on his right. And verse 34 said this, then said Jesus spoke from the cross, Father, Now, when he prayed, he did not go into a big, elaborate theological spiel about addressing the Heavenly Father. He simply said Father, because that's who God was to him. He was the Father. And Jesus was his Son, and he said, Father, the next two words, don't ever forget, this jumps off the page to me. He said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. And they parted his garments and cast lots. The Messiah, who was sinless, who was perfect, was treated like a criminal. In fact, there were criminals on either side of him. So I want you to think about forgiveness. Easter is about many things. It's about wearing nice clothes on Easter Sunday, and maybe Easter eggs for the kids, and flowers and beautiful sunshine, and it's about all that. But it's also about forgiveness. When a friend betrays you, you need to forgive them. When someone hurts you, you need to forgive them. When you are abandoned, when you are abused, when you are disrespected, when you are forgotten, your response and my response should be forgiveness. And many times that is not our response. Many times there's pain and anger and resentment and bitterness and retaliation. And I take us back to this place in the story of Easter where Jesus was clearly abused and abandoned. And Jesus said, forgive them. Father, forgive them. He forgave those two criminals, and he forgave those men who actually crucified him. And that was us. We were guilty. The Christian faith is based on forgiveness. Jesus is the standard of forgiveness. He loved those who nailed him to the cross, and that was us. He extended grace instead of anger and bitterness and frustration. Follow his example today and as we move into the Easter season. How? Ask God to help us. God, who do I need to forgive? Who have I been holding this grudge? Who am I bitter and angry toward? You want to be free? Forgive. His love will set us free. So thankful that you joined us for this brief time in the middle of your week. I would love to invite you to come and be with us this Sunday. If you don't have a place to go, we will be your family. We love this. It's a wonderful place, and I want to just extend God's grace and God's love to you today. Thanks for joining us. We're praying for you. God bless you. Have a great day.